now I'm going to try to develop and share with you the theory on the Negretto, which is a psychological and religious-based theory, and actually more than a theory, concept, where we found a pattern among a small part of the population where this select group of individuals go under traumatic events and are able to switch something on to create independence in a independence from robot mode. So you start operating independently from the projections of yourself that you have created in your head to really stay away from things that create the flight or fright instinct to you. Another way of thinking it, though, is your body becomes hooked on the dopamine that's released from flight or fright. It could be fear, it could be excitement, it could be anger, and your body adapts to that and regularly puts you into states to avoid feeling discomfort. And the reason we have this adaptation where 99.99% are acting out of comfort, and 0.01% are acting out of self-will. So the question becomes, going back to the theory on the Negretto, is you have the old self, the Negretto, and then enlightenment. So the old self, as indicated, is your childhood memories, really everything up until the point of explosion and complete chaos, and you just keep going and then realize that when you were being in the Negretto has been recounted by patients, and Carl Jung worked with these patients, and they found that you actually, once you enter this phase, your body initially treats it as a euphoric event because you've escaped the body, but it realizes that it's formulating a new self, and sees that as a threat, so they try to kill that new self. The old self tries to kill the new self, and the new self kills the old self, and it's just a repeating circle, circle, circle. But by identifying with the Negretto, it's like an aha moment where, what the heck? This is exactly what psychologists had found from severe trauma patients. It's really the solution for the path going forward. So I can't stress enough that psychologists and even lay people too, because you have to take care of your own mental health, really try to address this aspect of passing into the Negretto, having perhaps a spiritual awakening, or so much trauma that you create a different identity, and really try to stack the evidence together to see if it's something that could be replicated further with the population. So I'm going to just check my notes. So I have another theory too on drug dependence, and I think it's been viewed very incorrectly for a long time. But I also think that there's a great understanding too, built kind of more from the spiritual level that we see in programs such as like AA and other stuff. Currently, I would argue that drug use and dependency is seen as a moral failure, and the 99.99% don't know how to treat it any other way. You're instinctually wired to see that person as lower than you and as a threat, and you project and say, these people say, I gotta get rid of that person because that person's a threat to my family. So it's hard for them to get treatment, because a lot of it is just like, are you stable? Are you, is anything changed? And if someone starts changing behaviors a little bit, the psychiatrist, psychologist is like, what's happening? Are they going into mania? Are they having are they going into depressive psychosis? Are they going into some type of episode that is going to require like institutionalization? And most people just get institutionalized, and being in there, they just ensure that the people don't kill themselves. So you go in through gated doors that are like a foot thick of steel. That might be a little exaggerated, but very thick. And when they treat psych patients, they put them in these places, right? Imagine being at a door, a steel door, and then you hear bang, and it closes behind you, and you're in there, right? You can't wear shoes. You're walking around in socks, and you just feel so confused. But they're able, they're making sure that you don't kill yourself, essentially. So I think they'll try to take steps a lot of times afterwards, after they get through the inpatient hospitalization stay. But that's where the individual, once they get out, it's very difficult for them to follow up on treatment, and just their instincts fire off saying, I don't trust this at all. Something's not right, and I need to get the fuck out of here. And I think what happens with drug addicts is they remember that euphoric high that they had instinctually, and your body's like, I want to get that again, so I'm going to place you into situations where you actually instinctually crave it. So what happens is you take these substances and something goes off in your brain after you take it. Take more now, right? If you took a pill after like 20 minutes, if you've been taking them for a long time, something goes off that you don't hear that says, take another one, take another one, take another one. And it just builds upon itself. And then you get, but what happens is, in doing that, you're stressing your brain so much and dumping so much of a stimulant or a depressant, or you name it, like heroin. These things alter the brain so much that it's able to somehow potentially create pathways to this place that breaks off from the old self. So I think a lot of people have to listen to this and think critically. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on it. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the role of support systems around you. So you have to be very careful, because you recognize that you don't really, when in those states of minds, it's reported that it's very hard to self-reflect sometimes, because the instincts take over, and it just goes all over the place. And when you just keep going, you realize that these instincts are trying to tell you something, and then they're also working against you. So a big, huge moment for me was Sam Harris saying, now I'm going to blank on it, but come on, you know this. Sam Harris was on the TV talking about the meditation app, and he said, you should really learn how to train your brain. And those were one of the things, when I heard that, I didn't do it. Something just went boom. And back to the support system, though, from my experience, is that the support system is going to immediately think you're going into fail mode. They're going to think this is an unpredictable outcome, and since it's an unpredictable outcome, we have to fear death, or just fear the ultimate type of feeling that prevents you from moving on. So a lot of people with these types of conditions get stuck and never are able to get better. And the scary part is, do they have to be inflicted by a lot more pain to get out? And it seems the evidence is indicating that way, that a tremendous amount of pain requires exit of the void. And as long as you just keep going, the mind is able to regenerate itself, give the body spirit, and break away from the old self. So in recapping, we talked about the Negretto, which is the void, dark place in between the old self and new self, how drug dependency and drug abuse may be able to transfer you to a different dimension, and how the support system recognizes an error in a failure mode in the subject and suspect that bad things are going to happen. So again, just keep going, and that's all I know and all I can say.